According to Booker T. Washington, success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed. You have so much more to achieve. Don't limit yourself to your current situation. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We have an interesting show lined up just for you as we tackle matters relating to the plastic ban and apiculture. You don't want to miss a minute, so stay tuned. Reggae Month 2020 is here and a host of activities are in store across the island. Echoes of sound systems, Reggae Wednesdays, Reggae Gospel Concert, Bob Marley's 75th birthday celebrations, Doria Honours Award, Reggae Film in the Park, Children of the Icon Store concert and more. Keep up to date on all the activities. Download the new Reggae Month mobile app. Simply search the words Reggae Month Jamaica in the Google Play or App Store. The app will also allow you to add and promote your own Reggae Month activity. So what are you waiting for? Download away and make use of this innovative technology today. Reggae Month 2020. Come catch the rhythm. Government has embarked on the second phase of the plastic ban, barring the local manufacture, distribution, and use of expanded polystyrene foam products used in the food and beverage industry. Get the Facts is next with more information as we adjust to the changes.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. The government has embarked on the second phase of the plastic ban, prohibiting manufacture, distribution, and use of expanding polystyrene foam products. In this edition of Get the Facts, we are joined by Olivia Anderson, Manager, Public Education and Corporate Communication at the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. She will be answering your questions on this initiative. Ms. Anderson, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So good to have you on set. Now, so the ban is now in its second phase, yes? Tell us about the first phase. How did that go?
Well, on September 17th, 2018, the minister made an announcement to implement a ban on 3 items: single-use plastic bags, plastic drinking straws, and the importation of expanded polystyrene foam. So that was phase 1. In terms of phase 1, the response has been good so far. Even walking the streets, we see more people with their tote bags, persons walking out of the supermarket with their items in their hand if they forgot. Initially, we as Jamaicans, there was some trepidation, but I can see that we have gotten more used to this new plastic-free Jamaica.
Right. Have you noticed any impact? I know it's early days yet, but the impact on the environment?
Well, recently, the Jamaica Environment Trust-led International Coastal Cleanup Day, the results were released roughly a week or so ago. And one of the things that we noticed is that there was some reduction in terms of some of the items that was banned. So we're seeing incremental impact, but we're not seeing the big shift. And we believe that this will take a lot more time.
Yes. So what's the next step?
In terms of the next step, we're currently in phase 2, where we're phasing out expanded polystyrene foam, which some people commonly call styrofoam.
Okay.
So in terms of where that is concerned, we want persons to make the transition to reusable, to even bring in their own containers, and to find recyclable alternatives. So that is where we are.
So what kind of help are you giving to persons who will need alternative products?
Well, one of the things that the government has done in their research, they have gone out to the market to see, where the alternatives are across the island. And that is one of the reasons why we're proceeding with phase 2. So we're so confident that the industry has reacted sufficiently well. And Savlamar to St. Thomas, we know that there are alternatives available.
Okay, so is there any help?
One of the things that was extended for businesses when the ban was announced in 2018 was a facility with the DBJ, the Development Bank of Jamaica, and that is available to businesses who are retooling. So that is in terms of the help so far.
Right. Do you have anything else in place that is to assist with the whole cleaning up of the country?
All right, so we rely heavily on the NSWMA, and there's also a project that we're working on called the Plastic Waste Minimization Project. And two key parameters of that project, we're doing a pilot project in Raytown that is on your way to the airport side. So in Raytown, we're looking to get the behavior change. And once we pilot that project, we want to get more Jamaicans on board. And even at NEPA, we have a Green Business Initiative program where we're helping businesses to green their operations in terms of energy savings where plastic consumption is concerned. So those are some of the initiatives. And under the plastic waste minimization project, we're doing a regulatory impact assessment to basically track how the ban has been going to date.
Right. Talk to us about that project to get behavior change. Who you're targeting in Raytown first, you're saying?
Right, that's
Yes.
under the plastic waste minimization
Right.
project. But largely what the campaign that we have been pushing is Plastic Free Jamaica. We have gone to the highways and the byways. We've gone to town centers, communities, and we're engaging persons one-on-one in terms of how they feel about the ban. We're even introducing them to the alternatives. So you would see us walking and say, this is something that we could use, helping them to find that. So Plastic Free Jamaica and Plastic Waste Minimization Project
Yes.
are two of the initiatives that we're working on.
What's the kind of feedback are you getting? Are people liking it? They really want to go with it?
The feedback has been relatively good, but we've also had some persons who they feel as if they have been displaced, but we've used it as an opportunity to reassure them and to point them into the direction of where the alternatives are. Some of the feedback that we've gotten from persons of all ages is, we should have done this a long time ago. We should have done this. We've taken too long because this is something that's coming from 2016. And in terms of others, we're getting feedback in terms of the alternatives. And that is where we've really focused a lot of our energy into pointing persons to where the alternatives are.
Where are they?
Well, the alternatives are readily available. They're in supermarkets, they're in haberdashery wholesales, and they're even importers who are bringing in. And the plastic ban has opened up opportunities for even local businesses. We see businesses, even where the straws are concerned, are making bamboo straws. We see businesses, that eco-friendly business is popping up to supplement the need for the ban. So the ban has provided an opportunity for those players.
Right. Are you thinking about plastic as in bottles too?
Plastic bottles is one of the critical parts of the announcement. And in terms of the government's plan, that is involved in a deposit refund scheme that is being handled by the Recycling Partners of Jamaica. And the initiative was officially launched in September 2019. One of the things that has already occurred was that on plastic bottles, a $1 cess has been put in from the manufacturer side. So each manufacturer will pay $1 per bottle. And that is going to give the Recycling Partners of Jamaica the resources to expand their network. And currently they have 18 drop-off locations. And I encourage the viewers to visit their website and to call them to find out where they could drop off their plastic bottles.
Those websites again? Where?
Recycling Partners of Jamaica.
Right. Okay.
So the deposit refund scheme, we want to get to the place on which the deposit refund scheme was built, where we have persons, you getting a dollar value per bottle. But we're not quite there yet, but we're taking the steps, and that is something on the agenda.
Yes, because in the past with the bottles, we're usually able to take back our bottles and get money for it, right? So you're heading there.
That is exactly where we're going.
Yes, okay. All right, we take a break now. When we come back with more discussion on the Plastic Ban Initiative. Stay with us.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with Olivia Anderson, Manager, Public Education and Corporate Communication at NEPA. Right, so talk to us a little bit more about the projects for enforcement.
All right, so where enforcement is concerned, rather, we want Jamaicans to get on board and to comply voluntarily. So one of the things that we have done when we started was we went around the country, and instead of serving people up front and taking it to the courts, we gave them warning notices. We confiscated some of the banned items, and we did that for several businesses. However, we had to take it a step further because later in the year we realized that some persons and businesses were not complying even after, being warned and given what we would say a ticket. So we had to go back and serve those businesses, and today we have served 36 and 19 matters have been heard in parish courts across the island, with our most recent 12 defendants in St. James, in Western Jamaica rather. So we are making good strides. So that brings us to 19, and of the 36 we have one that is going through appeal, and we also have a total of 19 that we have already received judgment from the parish judges on.
Right, so who can be fined? We're asking people not to manufacture these items. But say I go to the store and I buy something and they give me in this banned item. I can be prosecuted?
What we want persons to do, if you go to the store and you get it, report it to us. The emphasis on the ban in terms of how the legislation, and there are 2 prohibition orders, one under the Trade Act and one under the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, NRC Act. And in terms of how the legislation was drafted, we're not targeting you, the supermarket shopper. We're targeting the supermarkets, we're targeting the wholesales, we're targeting the restaurant owners, because what we want to do is to get the banned items out of the supply chain. We want you to refuse, but we don't want you to have as much, we don't want to make the banned items available to you as much as is possible. Okay. So in terms of those who we have prosecuted, the information has to do with the importation. We haven't prosecuted anyone for importation, and I must use this opportunity to commend the Jamaica Customs Agency, who's been doing an excellent job where border protection is concerned. And then on the ground, we've been working closely with the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, as well as the security forces, to go in and to get these convictions. We want Jamaicans to comply. We want businesses to comply. We even set up a hotline, and the number is 876-285-8531, and an email address, which is policyonplasticban@nepa.gov.gm, so that individuals, businesses, companies can always reach out to us and get some clarification. One of the things that the government has also put in place is that at the Bureau of Standards Packaging Laboratory, you can get items tested to see whether they fall into the banned items. So there have been mechanisms that have been put in place for persons who are uncertain of whether their items are banned.
Okay. All right, so how do you know that people don't have leftover items?
One of the things that we had asked for was for a declaration. Yes. That was something that we had asked for earlier on. And one of the things in 2019 was that an initial grace period was given until roughly mid-February, end of February in 2019 for persons who had their stocks to deplete. So while we have implemented the ban, we have not taken a draconian measure. We want Jamaicans to feel the importance and to understand that what we're doing, we're not doing it to be harsh on them, but we're doing it to protect for all of us.
Absolutely. Right, to protect us. Let's talk about climate change and the relationship with plastic.
Plastic, there is a study that I would encourage any Jamaican to go and have a look at, and the United Nations Environment Program, it's called Plastic: A Roadmap to Sustainability. And that is where we want to go, sustainability. We want all of our natural resources to be here for our future generations. When we think about plastics, we think about, in terms of our waste management system, the impact that it has, because you have some plastics that takes 500 to 1,000 years to break down. Can you imagine where we're going to store those items? And even if they're in the soil or if they're in a landfill, it's still going to pose a challenge. Soil pollution is also a concern because there are chemicals that are used to make these items, and these can sometimes leach into the soil. And even for those that break down, they break down into something we call microplastics, and there have been several studies to indicate how microplastics have been entering into the food chain. So, my CEO would normally say, one time you used to bring home the fish in a bag, but now you're bringing home the bag in the fish. And we see that the plastics are also impacting on our wildlife, not only fish, but even our turtles, and they're ingesting it. We saw the story internationally of the whale that had tons of plastics in its gut. It died of hunger. So it has a far-reaching implication. It blocks our drains, it blocks our waterways, and if you've ever been, and I'm sure JIS has been, to International Coastal Cleanup Day, we can see firsthand the impact.
Yes, definitely. We have. So we're in phase 2, and there's a phase 3, yes?
Absolutely.
How's that going? And tell us about that.
Phase 2, we're in continuous dialogue with the manufacturing sector and in terms of the businesses who have come out in support as well. One of the things that we're putting in place is we're reminding businesses in terms of this third phase, one of the straws that are attached to Tetra Pak pouches, to juice pouches. I won't call some of the names, but we know for the small children that they use, those will be banned come 2021. And in terms of the size of the bag will remain the same, but the thickness will increase. So in terms of how that looks, the ban in the first phase targeted bags 1.2 mils, and 1.2 mils is a little technical, but 1.2 mils is thinking of your regular scandal bag. Yes. And then now we know that we go to some bookshops or we get the nice gift bags. We're going up to those sizes. So we're doing it incrementally because we want Jamaicans to make the switch over time.
Okay, good. As we wrap, just your message to Jamaica as it relates to this ban. Try to encourage us how, to really support the band.
We say that we're Jamaica, land of wood and water, and we think about how long plastic takes to break down. We want to have Jamaica, land of wood, water and air for our future generations, and we can only do that by having a plastic-free Jamaica. We also want Jamaicans to see the opportunities that the plastic ban has come, so we want for you to preserve our land by supporting the plastic ban.
Very good. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Useful information. Mm-hmm. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest was Olivia Anderson, Manager, Public Education and Corporate Communication at NEPA. We urge you to continue recycling and stop using plastic items that have been banned. Keep our country clean. Until next time, when Get the Facts brings you another informative discussion, I'm Rose Campbell. Do take good care.
Apiculture in Jamaica is big business, and farmers have been experiencing lots of success over the years. Grab your pen, pencils, and paper to get all you need to know about participating in this growing industry.
Apiculture is an art and it's a science. And it's an art and science of managing bees. So everything that we do in the hive, everything that is happening in the hive is very scientific. And as beekeepers, we craft the way how we manage the bees. So every beekeeper that you speak to, they will have a different approach to different aspects of beekeeping.
Given that the importation of honey into Jamaica is restricted, you can only imagine what big business beekeeping is for our farmers. They have expanded from just providing honey for citizens and have moved on to creating many different byproducts. But have you ever wondered how you can get involved and have your share of the sweetness?
For you to be a beekeeper, you have to develop certain comfort in dealing with this thing, which is not a maybe when you're a beekeeper in Jamaica. It is a must. So every time you get a sting, it becomes irritating to you. But then because we love what we're doing, we don't pay much attention to the irritating part. We're more focused on what we're doing, and we know that at the end of the day we're going to get honey. And when we get honey, we can convert that to money. So for us in St. Thomas, from time to time we have projects, and quite a few of the persons in St. Thomas who are beekeepers, they start out benefiting from projects that would have beekeeping component. So training is critical, because then you have to know how to navigate your way through an environment that is challenging to allow you to harvest honey and to make a livelihood from beekeeping. I would advise anybody who would like to make their own box to purchase a box to start with, or you borrow a properly made box, because the bees are very scientific. They're very specific in terms of the design of the space that they occupy. And if you make a mistake and where you're supposed to have 3/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch, you put 1/2 inch, or you put less than 1/4 inch, then you're going to have problem as a beekeeper. So a beekeeper has to be knowledgeable about what is normal in the hive. So I tell people that when you come into the apiary, there's a normal sound. And if you listen, you hear a hum. When I hear that as a beekeeper, I know that they're finding food out there. They're finding nectar, they're finding pollen, and so on, when I hear this hum. When you go into the hive, there are many things in there that you have to observe. Right? You have to observe the condition of the comb, whether the combs are, I always said, old and crystallized, because once they get old and crystallized, you want to get rid of those combs. You want to look at the color of the brood. When we say the brood, we're talking about from the larval stage now to when they get to the pupal stage. You want to observe that, because there's a normal way that they should look, and there's an abnormal way when something is going wrong that they would look differently. You want to observe the queen and the condition of the queen as expressed in the amount of eggs that are laid, as expressed by the amount of seal brood that you see. Right? In the bee yard, you want to be observant of everything. I usually tell trainees that when you come into the bee yard or into the apiary, you have to look around at the trees and the shrubs around, because there might be a swarm that is lingering. That swarm might have taken place in your absence. Might even be the very morning before you come to the apiary. You have to observe and see if any of that is there, because if you let that swarm escape, then you're looking at some dollars and some of your profitability that is going down the drain. You want to be able to have a bee yard that is not necessarily sterile, but clean enough that if you have dead bees around, you can see them on the ground. If you have bees that have been affected by the varroa mite and they are suffering from viral attack, there's a virus that they call the wing curl virus. Those bees, when they reach the age and the stage to fly, they cannot fly because the wings are deformed. And so those bees, you will see them crawling on the ground, and they will crawl around on the ground until ants get them or until they die.
That's just the bare bones of what you need to learn about beekeeping. Do more research to increase your knowledge. But as you do, ask yourself this: am I registered with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA?
It is of great importance for a farmer to become registered or get registered with RADA, because indirectly they assist us in making national plans. For example, when we are doing our national plan, knowing the demographics of the farmer, where they are, the type of production that they do, it allows us to pinpoint as to what projects or programs can be implemented. And also, if we should have disaster, diseases, we know where the concentration of farmers are located. Or once you come to the RADA office, you can either speak with myself, the livestock officer, or the extension officer, and we'll provide you basic information on what is needed, how you go about it. We also give you the other linkages, such as the apiculture unit at Borders, that you can contact for other information. We also do assessment. We assist you in doing site assessment of your apiaries, and also kind of hold your hand in terms of getting started. And if we have projects or programs and we can have you on that project or program, we also put you there. The advice that I give to beekeepers is to do your production in a manner that has a business-like approach. From my observation, many beekeepers think that having the bees they're just there. They don't really take the time out to assess their apiaries. Mr. McNeish mentioned about sanitation. They don't really look at that. So I say just manage your apiary, monitor your hives, keep your proper record so that you can have a good production.
Garbage collection, maintenance of public sanitary conveniences, upkeep of cemeteries, provision of water shops, road improvement, street lights, poor relief programs, community beautification. All these services are funded by you. Yes, they are, when you pay your property tax. Pay your annual property tax to make Jamaica the place of choice for all.
Jamaica is scheduled to host the 4th Energy and Climate Partnership of the Americas ECPA Ministerial Meeting from February 27 to 28 at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. The ECPA Ministerial Meeting will be held under the theme Energy Resilience and Investment Opportunities. It will include the participation of energy ministers from 30 countries, development partners, and private sector stakeholders. The sessions will explore the relationship between energy and gender, poverty, efficiency, resilience, and research. It will also explore renewable energy, efficient use of cleaner fossil fuels, and regional energy integration. The government will be using information garnered from the ministerial meeting to improve the island's efforts at becoming the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thanks for watching another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Until then, send your feedback on today's show to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages and download our app on your Apple and Android devices. And you can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.